You have been asked to create a Excel document that shows a given number of area. So on your sheet that you've been given, it tells you how many shapes you need to make and what area I want them to be. What I'm going to show you today is how to use the program Excel to do what you need to do. I'm opening Microsoft Excel and I'm going to choose just a blank workbook. Now, you know that area is measured in square units, and what we see here are not squares. So we're going to do a couple of things to make them look like squares. The first thing I want you to do, though, is to come up to your Layout tab and click on Margins and just choose Normal. Normal is perfectly okay. But what that does for you is it gives you lines here on the sides and down at the bottom, and what those lines represent are your pages. You know, when you print, you want your shapes to be all on one page, and this will help you see where your pages are. So this is a page, this is a different page, and as you go down, these are each different pages. Okay? Now, like I said, we need square units. So what we're going to do, we're going to turn all these little boxes into squares. Come up here to the top corner between the A and the 1, there's a little rectangle. You click on it, and you see everything is now highlighted. So now I'm going to go back to my Home tab on the menu up here, and I'm going to come over to Cells, and I want to format. So I'm going to choose the row height, and right now it's a little small, so we're going to make it just a little bigger and put a decimal 5.5 1/2, and then we're going to come back to that same tab, but this time choose column width. And do the same thing. We want it to be exactly the same so that they're squares. So then I just click away from it, and you can see that all of my little shapes are squares. Now, for example, if you're creating a shape with an area of 7, you know that all of your squares need to be touching. It's not a shape with an area of 7 if my squares aren't touching. So I'm going to come up here to the top, and I'm going to choose a square. And then what I'm going to hold on my keyboard is the key Control or Command if you're using a Mac. And so then I just click squares that are touching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now I've got these 7 squares that are highlighted. Right now I don't know anything, or I don't have them shown where my teacher can see them. So I need to come up here to the Borders box and choose All Borders. Now when I click away, those squares stay dark, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have a shape that has an area of 7. You're going to want to make sure when you go to the next shape, you leave some area around the bottom and the side. And so I'm going to move on to the next one and just leave a blank row in between. And let's say this time I want to make a shape with an area of 17. 17 is a pretty big number. I want to use as much space on this page as I can. So let's say I'm going to make this one pretty long. So let's do 1 here, 2, don't forget to hold that Command or Control key, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now I come back to the top to my borders and do all borders. Now I have a shape that has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Now I want to show you if you happen to make a mistake where you have 18 of your squares, then what you would want to do is choose the one you want to take away, whichever one that is, go back to your borders, and tell it no border. So now that shape has come away. Now you're going to see it may create some problems with your other squares that were touching it, so just go back to those squares so you can fix them and tell it all borders again. So I need to fix this one and this one, and I'm going to choose again all borders. So now I've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So this shape matches my area of 17 square units. You would continue going till you've completed all the problems, and make sure you don't cross over with the same shape, because then your shape will not be on the same page. When you're finished, be sure to go up to the top, File, and save it. And I'm going to call it my area project. And I'm going to save. And then when I'm ready to print, I'm going to come back to that same menu, File, Print. And then I'm going to print it out. And you can even see here how we've got our shapes on the page. Okay, and then you would just click print. Alright, so be sure go back and watch this video again if you're not sure how to do it, if you get stuck. And as always, be sure to come with any questions before your assignment's due. Thank you for watching, and you're going to do an awesome job.